Achievements. Every game and smart toaster nowadays has achievements built into them, and well, Noia's not going to be any different. But, like all things in Noia, it's going to pull from a mix of things that I enjoyed about video games that I've played, or different experiences in my life. So let's get into this. What do you think when you hear the word achievement? A lot of games nowadays will throw achievements at players for doing the simplest of things. Logged in? Achievement. Killed a snail? Achievement. Touched some grass? Achievements! Some use this auditory and visual stimuli to get people just really hooked on their games. But you know what other things do that too? Now, I try to give games the benefit of the doubt, and, seeing big lights and sounds is fun in its own way, when used responsibly. But it's more fun than the lights and the sounds? Loot. I want Noia's achievement system to be rewarding to the player. You're gonna have to work for these prizes, and when you do, the reward should make the journey all worth it. That's not to say that there won't be a few joke prizes or duds thrown in there to keep things interesting, but the vast majority of rewards will be good. Okay, code time. First, we're gonna need a struct to hold our achievement. This is what's gonna get saved and loaded to the disk. We need the ID of the achievement, the name of the achievement itself, a description for it. We need to know if the achievement reward was claimed or not, and what exactly that reward is. Anytime an achievement is generated, it's going to have to provide these variables in order to exist. Now, the player achievement class here is where all the heavy lifting is going to be taking place. So we're going to set up a dictionary here. I guess that actually means I didn't need the ID in the struct in the first place, because the ID is in the dictionary. We're going to make this dictionary a sync var, and what that means is any time that there is a change made to this achievements dictionary, it's going to sync those changes down to the client, and I'm going to use that actually as well with a hook in order to prompt the achievement to play anytime that the achievement dictionary has a change made to it. Now that we have the basic layout here, we just need to add it to our player class, drop the script onto our player object, and what's that? Oh, well, I guess you can't have a dictionary be a sync var after all. Hold on, I'll fix this. Oh, it turns out I'm supposed to be using something called a sync dictionary. That makes sense. Okay, since we can't use our sync var hook with our dictionary, we're going to use it with a list instead. So what this is going to do is anytime the achievement queue here is changed, it's going to trigger the play achievements method here to get triggered on the client side. We want to have a list here because there's a chance that a player is going to have more than one achievement triggered at a time, and we want to have a queue play those achievement animations one at a time so the player doesn't miss any in the end. And I just realized that this isn't going to work. We need to remove an achievement from that list after it's been played. Well, that's a sync var, and you can't touch sync vars on the client, so we're going to have to make a better way of doing this. Alright, not a huge problem. So instead of making the list the sync var hook, we're just going to make a single string, a sync var hook, and we'll make a different method to iterate through the list, and anytime it finds something there, it will set that string to that item on the list. That string will then sync down to the player and play the animation. we need to make sure that this thing doesn't play every single tick, so we'll give it a 5-second waiting period. Now we need the server to check for new achievements every tick or so, so I guess we're just gonna put it right here. It's as good as a place as any. So I had whipped up this basic animation here, just it expands on the y-axis and then the alpha channel disappears. I need to have it pop up here, so I added this UI class, and all it really does is tell the animator to play the achievement. We're gonna have it set the title of the achievement and also the description, which is basically the achievement name. I took a basic buff skill and duplicated it, and now it is my debug buff skill. Anything that I put under the apply section, I can do whatever I want with it to test various aspects of the game. So this time I'm going to put a couple of achievements down here and see what happens. Note to self, figure out why the animation plays on startup. And the skill's not there. Okay, easy enough to solve. I had to make sure the learn default was checked and the required weapon category was also set. Okay, now the debug skill shows up properly. Let's try it out. Oh, it has no animation. That shouldn't matter. But it's not working anyway. Okay, so I troubleshot this thing for a long time. And I mean a long time. I fixed the animation bug. I put debug information all over my code, and I could not figure out what the heck was going on until the very last thing that I checked. You remember that play achievement method? Turns out you actually need to tell it to do something. Okay, there. Better. Let's try again.
Nice.
Hell yeah, that works. Okay, so at this point, our basic proof of concept works. We can generate an achievement, add it to the queue, and get it to play on the client and display it with the animation. But there's still a lot that we need to do. We need to be able to change the achievement icon, for one. There's still some glitchiness in the animation itself, and I want to be able to add some different text effects and stuff to the achievement to give it some character. So when I talk about giving the animation some character, I think of the AI in the book series Dungeon Crawler Carl. In it, there's this crazy AI that reads the players their achievement and quest notifications with various mood swings and tonal shifts constantly. And it gives this sense of wackiness to each one of them. And I want to be able to convey that in different random animation types in the text notifications themselves. Minor spoilers for Dungeon Crawler Carl books, but here's a couple of clips.
New achievement! Let there be chaos! New achievement! A man of God! New achievement! Rock bottom! New achievement! Total, utter failure! New achievement! Wild goose chase! New achievement! You're the reason why Daddy drinks.
Fortunately for me, the TextMesh Pro original dev included a giant example pack of text animations in the TextMesh Pro GitHub. And so a simple drag and drop later, and I have awesome text animations. There's some weird black magic multi-threading stuff going on in the background that I don't fully comprehend, but I can dig into that at a later time. For now, everything seems to be working and they all look great. So now everything works, but now we gotta get it working automatically in-game. So I set up this kind of hacky method where the server would pass a string down to the client, and the client would chop it up and get the different parts of the achievement out of it. The icon, the title, the description, and the text effect based on what part of the string it read. Janky, sure, but if it works, right? Now that we can show the player their achievements, it's time to actually give them their reward. Thankfully, there are dozens of different places to reference giving players items in MMORPG, so I'm pretty familiar with how to do it by now. We gave our players their achievements and loot, and now we gotta save it. That's where SQL comes into play. You gotta load their achievements anytime the player logs onto the server, and we're gonna have to save their achievements whenever the players log off or anytime there's a server save event. Loading achievements is easy enough. All you have to do is grab every single row in SQL table where the name equals the player name and loop through them and add those achievements to the player's achievement dictionary. Saving achievements isn't much different than loading them, it's just backwards. You grab each achievement from the player's achievement dictionary, iterate through each one of them, and save it to a new row in the achievement table under the character's name. Quick test later. We can open up our SQL table here in a SQL Explorer, open up our achievement table. There it is, right where it should be. Now, I said earlier that this method of passing achievements down to the client from the server was a hacky method of splitting up a string, and I wasn't lying, it is really hacky. This is a trick that I would use back in my Minecraft modding days. Well, this is Unity, and I don't have to do hacky things anymore, so I'm gonna search for a better way of doing this. Turns out that easier method is Unity's scriptable objects. With that, I was easily able to set up a object here that I could pass through the notification tile, icon, and even the animation effect, description, and reward item all in one single go. It's surprisingly ridiculously easy. I'm gonna level with you here. This last part is the part that I saved for last because I hate doing it, and that's UI. Maybe I hate doing it because I have the least experience in it out of all the parts of this project, but for whatever reason, I really hate doing UI. I basically took the window that I used for my LFG panel and just cannibalized it to use for the achievement panel, but I needed to make a new module for the achievements to be displayed, and I had one hell of a time getting the text to auto-expand the child parts of the window, but eventually I got it. At the bottom right, the player will be able to see the reward available to them from the achievement, and if they've claimed it, it'll gray out for them as well. With the UI finished, everything is complete. All in all, it took about 16 hours to finish the achievements for Noia, and at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, what are we left with?